Hello everyone, Matita here. Welcome back to our series on 10 virtues of a positive safety culture. In this video, we'll be discussing the second virtue, forbearance. That is tempering your reactions to failure. Failure is part of life, and in safety critical environments, it's something we inevitably encounter. But how we react to failure can either help us improve or hold us back. Forbearance as a virtue calls for tempering our immediate, often emotional reactions to failure. It encourages us to hold off on assigning blame and look at the bigger picture. Let's break down this idea further by first looking at some common features of our reactions to failure. When failure happens, it's easy to start looking back at the event and explaining what went wrong. This is known as retrospective reaction. We naturally try to piece together a simple story about what happened, often reducing a complex event to a single factor. While this kind of thinking is understandable, it doesn't capture the full complexity of the situation, and it doesn't help us understand what happened from a system's perspective. Forbearance invites us to avoid oversimplifying the event by focusing only on the past. Instead of seeking a single explanation, we should acknowledge that failures often involve multiple interconnected factors that require a broader perspective. Another common reaction is counterfactual thinking, imagining what could have been different. We often ask ourselves, what if I had done something differently? Would the outcome have been better? While counterfactual thinking gives us a sense of control, it doesn't necessarily move us towards solving the problem or improving the system. Forbearance encourages us to step back from this kind of thinking. Instead of focusing on what could have been, we should focus on understanding the systemic factors that contributed to the failure and how we can prevent it in the future. A third feature of failure reactions is the proximal response. When we immediately blame those closest to the incident, for example, after a failure, the most direct person to blame might be the worker who made the mistake or the team that was directly involved. However, forbearance teaches us to move away from blaming individuals. Instead of focusing on the people involved, we need to look at the broader system, the processes, the communication channels, the resources available, and see how these factors contributed to the failure. It's important to ask, what could the system have done differently to support the people involved? So, how can we guard against these knee-jerk reactions? Dekker's idea of forbearance encourages us to take a step back. Rather than rushing to judgment or assigning blame, we pause, reflect, and consider the broader systems at play. In practical terms, this could look like taking a moment before speaking after a failure, asking yourself, what happened here? What led to this situation? How can we improve the system going forward? By focusing on systems thinking, understanding how different parts of the organization interact, we can identify how failures are often the result of larger systemic issues, not individual mistakes. One of the dangers of reacting quickly is something known as hindsight bias. This is when after an incident, we look back and think, I knew this will happen. This belief can distort our perception of the event and cause us to make judgments about the past that went there at the time. An incident is an investment already made. When we face a failure, instead of immediately blaming, we should think of it as an opportunity to learn and refine our systems. Reacting emotionally and impulsively can mean we miss the valuable lessons the incident offers us. A core aspect of forbearance is recognizing that failures are signals, not failures of individuals. They point us to places where our systems can improve, whether it's in communication processes or resources. By practicing forbearance, we learn to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. To wrap up, forbearance is about tempering your response to failure, avoiding blame, and understanding that errors aren't causes of failure. They are symptoms of deeper systemic issues. By practicing this virtue, we can create a culture that values reflection and improvement rather than rushing to judgment. And in our next video, we'll explore the third virtue, that is kindness. In short, kindness is about seeing errors as symptoms, not causes. The next step in building a positive safety culture. So stay tuned. Thank you.